Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back. This is the fourth video episode of this playlist where we are talking about the result pattern and Ardalis.Result NuGet package. So let's get started. In the previous episode, we kind of saw that with the invoice service, we had two approaches of tackling this requirement of doing some processing of an invoice uh, on an invoice. So the traditional approach was to go with exceptions, throwing different exceptions based on the exceptional cases, but the more appropriate approach was to make use of result.invoice. So I have made a new branch for this video in our repository. We can you can take a look at the code after I commit the changes and push to the repository. What I want to do is to refactor this update invoice campaign and change it so that it returns a result of invoice. So what I need to do is to basically instead of returning an invoice, we're going to return a result of invoice. And then here, if for example campaign is less than 0, you see these checks, we're going to, for example, here we're going to return a result of invoice. We're going to return previously, if you take a look, let me go back. We are returning we are throwing an argument exception, and in our controller, when we get this argument exception, we are returning a bad request. So basically, here what we can do is to take a look at the result class, result of invoice, to see if we've got something like bad request. Do we? Not found. Invalid. How about invalid? Maybe. I'm not sure. We can maybe use invalid or not found. If we go with not found, we can say campaign ID must be a positive integer, or we can go with invalid. Maybe invalid would be a better choice. And of course, we know that here we need a validation error, and the validation error is going to take in an error message. So this is the first refactoring. Then we're gonna get the invoice from the database. If it is null, then we are going to return result of invoice not found. And for not found, we are going to return this error message. Otherwise, we are going to do this. Now, what we can do now that we have made this refactoring, what we can do is that in our controller, we can get rid of this, and then we are going to check out this. We are going to try to do this operation. Right now, it returns a result of invoice. Then we can check the invoice. If you take a look here, we've got is success, we've got a status, and if you take a look at a status comes from like an enumeration called result statuses dot invalid. So if it is invalid, if the result is invalid, we're going to return a bad request. I'm going to copy this, and then here I'm going to say invoice dot. Do we have a message? Success message? What about failure? Invalid. So what I wanted to do was to I can do something like this. I can say that, for example, status, or let's say if invoice status is invalid, I'm going to say campaign not found for now. Maybe I'll refactor it later. campaign not found. If the status is not found, then we're going to return a not found. We can also put a message here. So I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to remove this. Okay. What is this error message here? It says add braces to if statements. Unreachable code detected. I need to remove this guy, I guess. So, of course, I can spend more time on this to return the correct types. But what I am trying to do here is that, and then otherwise we're going to return an OK of invoice. What I am doing here, I mean, I did refactor the update invoice campaign. But again, if you take a look here, I am checking the status of the invoice. And if the status is, for example, invalid, I am going to return an action result. If it is not found, another action result, not found. So basically, what is happening here is that I am mapping the result of the operation from my service, like invalid, not found, to an action result. Based on the result of the operation, I am returning different action results, which is again something that could be refactored, because I don't want this piece of code inside of my controller. I want my controllers and my action methods to be as concise as possible. I want them to have that single responsibility principle inside of them. This is the topic of the next video. In the next video, we will see a way to map the result of our operations coming from the invoice service to the types that we want to return from our action methods, from our endpoints inside of our controllers. And again, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe I will spend some more time on refactoring these different types that we are returning from these action methods. But because we are going to make use of that mapping thing I told you about, I think it doesn't make sense to spend some time thinking about the different types that we want to return based on what we get from this operation, because we're going to make use of a mapping that does this automatically for us. Thank you so much for watching this video till the very end. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to map the result from our service to an action result, to let's say a result that we want to return from our endpoints. Till later, bye-bye.